educational experience. And thanks to our faculty, we do both exceptionally well. The ability we have built into our plan is for both ongoing university relations, operations, and for supporting the needs of community members in making decisions based on their unique health and safety needs. Again, I want to reiterate, it is our goal to return in August and have face-to-face classes that will end at the Thanksgiving holiday. Likewise, guided by thoughtful comments from many of you, we are working diligently to ensure that new COVID-19 related safeguards are as accessible as possible to meet the needs of our campus community members. And although the scientific understanding of COVID-19 continues to evolve, we will continue to adjust in response to new information. The procedures and protocols we are implementing are based on scientific and medical data. They are outlined on the Return to Campus Plan website, which I urge each of you to consult regularly and to read thoroughly. It is the primary source of information about SUNO's return to campus and will continue to be updated. We will continue to provide these updates on the university website, www.suno.edu, and please feel free to provide any feedback, suggestions, comments, etc. via email to COVID-19@suno.edu. Again, I want to thank all of you for joining us today and participating in this virtual town hall. I want to thank the faculty, our staff and students for your patience and understanding during these challenging and historic times. And I also want to thank our parents for also understanding and being patient with us as we fully develop our plans to return to campus. I am confident that these trying times serve to bring us closer in the days to come. And again, I remain grateful and inspired by all you are doing to navigate the pandemic and to stay healthy and productive. Remember that we are SUNO. We are family, we are resilient, and we will make it because we are stronger together. So if you have any questions or concerns, please contact Mrs. Laverne Toombs via email at ltoombs@suno.edu. Please know that to view today's town hall in its entirety, this recorded session will soon be archived and available to view at www.suno.edu. Dr. Williams, with that, I will turn it back to you.
Great. Thank you, Chancellor Ammons. So right now we are going to answer your questions. Ms. Laverne Toombs is going to come on and she is going to read your questions and toss them to the person in which to answer it would be most appropriate. So if you have any questions, please put those in the chat and we will read those off and answer them as best we can. So Ms. Toombs, do you see any questions?
We do not. We haven't received any questions in the chat box, but however, we did receive some questions in advance that was sent to covid@suno.edu. So I'll start with the first question / comment, and it states, we have several faculty members who are in at-risk categories who do not feel comfortable returning to campus. To quote, as an arts and humanities faculty member, I really would like to see the semester be strictly online. Our students, faculty, and staff need to be protected. There are groups more vulnerable to this virus: older, Black, Latinos, and health compromised. With the restrictions recently set by the governor, it reinforced that Louisiana doesn't have the situation under control. Also, will the university support faculty who are at risk to be fully online? Will faculty members have the option to deliver instruction remotely for the fall of 2020 semester? Dr. Ammons?
I can address one of the things that I said during my introductory remarks is that our plans have flexibility that would incorporate the individual needs as it relates to health of members of our campus community. There is a process that is in place where individuals who have health conditions can apply, if you will, for accommodations as a result of your health condition. And those requests will be acted upon on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you, Dr. Ammons. Our second question is, we also have other faculty members with great concerns about ITC at SUNO and SUBR. Faculty members stated that they have been attempting to get assistance through the summer with no results. How can we assure that the faculty and students alike will be properly cared for and educated in order to help us all succeed as we continue to work in an online environment?
Well, I can answer that. This is Edmund Cummings, Director of IT for the New Orleans campus. With the consolidation of Banner and Moodle, those systems are being housed and managed primarily by the Baton Rouge IT department. As recently as today, we've had meetings about that to make sure that the New Orleans campus IT personnel have adequate access to handle more of those things on this campus without having to contact them. Right now, at the time of this meeting, we don't have that access, but I've been told that we should before the semester starts. But what's been happening before is that you guys call us and we take those requests and send them to the appropriate Baton Rouge.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, our third question will we have quarantine and isolation facilities? Dr. Williams or Mr. James?
For students. But yes, we will have a quarantine students. It is limited because we wouldn't be able to quarantine every an outbreak, but we will have limited quarantine rooms for students. And Ms. Toombs, I do see another question in the chat. Would you like for me to read that one out, or?
I still have several other questions.
Okay, yeah, then let's go with those. Perfect.
Yes, okay, thank you. Will we have to maintain on-campus office hours? The question is, will we have to maintain on-campus office hours?
Once it is determined that we can return to the campus safely, on campus, face-to-face, and office hours would be a part of that. However, one of the things that we have done when I talked about changes in safeguards across the campus, we are addressing social distancing issues in office where social distancing is an issue. We are making arrangements. We are installing plexiglass in areas where we are concerned about faculty, staff, and students, for that matter, coming into close contact. The virus, I think, is going to be with us for a while. And so we have tried to address all of the issues that we could think of as we examine every aspect of the campus. The other thing that we said too is we laid out the plan is that we are going to leverage technology to carry out the work of the university when we can't do it face to face. So our plan is flexible, but again, when we make the decision to come back to the campus, it is expected that our faculty and staff will return. There is a process for requesting accommodations, and those requests will be considered on a case-by-case basis.
Thank you, Dr. Ammons. I have two more questions and comments. Although I appreciate what SUNO is doing to promote safety, I have serious concerns about spending 8 hours a day, 5 days a week in a building with air conditioning, interacting with potentially symptomatic individuals much younger than I, particularly in the fall when there is both flu and COVID-19. As a result, will SUNO allow those of us who are successfully teleworking to continue to do so? All research shows that prolonged indoor exposure increases the chances of contracting COVID-19. As we protect our students by ensuring that they spend the least amount of our time on campus, why not work to ensure that employees are given that same option? Most of us are older and more vulnerable than our student population.
I think that's sort of a repeat of a couple other questions that have come. And I'll just say again that our plan has flexibility to allow employees, staff, faculty, administrators with health issues to request accommodations. The other thing that I would say too is that we all have concerns. And I want to be clear that this plan that we have is dependent upon our ability to return to the campus in a safe and responsible way. The last thing that we want to do is to put anyone in our campus community in harm's way. And that's why we've partnered with Ochsner. We have implemented many of their recommendations. For instance, we are working now on partnering with another provider to provide testing. We also have digital thermal thermometers in our buildings, in the buildings on the campus, where we will be able to monitor temperatures of our colleagues, our students as well, coming and going in and out of buildings on the campus. We're taking all of the precautionary measures that we have been advised to take in order to ready the campus for return. But again, I'm going to repeat this again, this plan that we have is dependent upon the state of Louisiana and health officials informing us that it is safe to return. Everything that we do is going to be based on health and scientific data. And again, it's going to be all of our responsibility to do the things that health experts have said that we need to do. We need to wear our masks. We need to social distance. We need to wash our hands. And if we're not feeling well, to not come to the campus.
Thank you, Dr. Ammons. The next pre-question is, I am a current student and have some in-person classes this fall. Will a virtual option be available for those who rather not return so soon?
We're getting the same question. And Dr. Adeboye, you may want to talk about the work that the faculty is doing to ensure that we have high quality instruction, whether it is face-to-face, hybrid, or online.
Middle of spring 2020, when we had to go on remote teaching on emergency basis, we are quite pleased that faculty rose up to the challenge and they were able to pick up very rapidly and help to teach the classes to the end of the semester. And now we have had the whole of summer, during which we have intensified faculty training in online teaching. We are so proud of our faculty now that should we have go online or hybrid in fall 2020, we are quite confident that even what they did within the short period in spring 2020, they will do much, much better. They are very highly equipped now. Some of them have been going through a very intensive training since around June 15th. We had another group that had gone through training much, much earlier. The summary is that we are ready, as the Chancellor said, for any option that we have to face based on what the state government or the situation dictates. And should we go the online hybrid way, I'm assuring students that if we did what we did in spring 2020, we are ready to do even much, much better. This summer, for instance, the type of complaints we were having in spring 2020, which was reasonable, those complaints have died down, which tells me that faculty have actually picked up even as early as this summer, let alone fall. So should it be that we will be doing online hybrid teaching in fall 2020, just come to campus, we'll be happy to meet faculty who are much more fully prepared for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Adeboye. I know that we have a few questions in our chat box. I know some of them may be redundant, but here's one here that says, if a student is on full scholarship and who is immune compromised and given birth within the next 2 weeks, can their scholarship be on hold or take virtual classes instead?
Yes, if you, this is Melva, my video I think is frozen, but if you, for that student, we can check on your scholarship. You can email me at mewilliams@suno.edu, or you can email the financial aid office and they can look at which scholarship you may have and see what requirements are depending on what type of scholarship you may have, and they can look at that individually to make that determination. I would suggest you email your financial aid counselor and talk through it so that you can look at those requirements in detail. The scholarships do allow for online courses, so I can't imagine any scholarship that you may have that wouldn't allow for online courses.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you, Dr. Williams. Dr. Mustafa, I believe that you have a comment in the chat box. Would you like to share your question?
Yes, Chancellor Ammons, we just heard yesterday from Ms. Wood that Moodle will be down. They have a new Moodle and it will be available only on August 8th, and we're supposed to come back on the 12th. And this is very short time for the faculty to transfer their classes from the old Moodle to the new Moodle. And we maybe experience more transferring those classes. Who's making those decisions? The SUBR did the same thing with they decided to do it during the registration, and we had a lot of issue with it, you know. I don't know if Mr. Cumming can elaborate on this, or okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr.
No, I can, hey, Ms. Cummings, Ms.
Okay.
Cummings,
Okay.
I can, after speaking with you, Dr. Elazar, I asked Dr. Fabiola to join the chancellors and the president this morning, and I raised that issue with him. He assured me, first of all, that the current version of Moodle will still be there, and that faculty can put their course shells and other course information in the current version of Moodle, and that information will be transferred. In addition to that, I am going to arrange a meeting with him along with the academic officers across the system and representatives of the faculty so that he can explain this transition from the current version of Moodle to the upgrade. So I will be talking with him later today, and I will send a notice out on the meeting that will occur with him and chief academic officers and faculty across the system. Again, rest assured that the current version is there, and so as faculty go through their professional development training, putting their course information in the current Moodle system, that information will be there and will be available as we begin the new semester.
Also, Ms. Wood mentioned yesterday that they have a council for Moodle, but there is no faculty representation. I think from all the system, it is only IT people who are deciding what to do and all those things without taking the faculty input. So maybe we need to let him know that he has to include faculty from, you know, every campus to be aware of those issues.
You can be assured that that's at the top of my agenda. There appears to be a lack of participation, a lack of input from faculty when these major decisions are made regarding IT. And that's one of the things that we'll address right off the bat.
Also, I would like to really thank you. And I would also to make sure that the faculty are aware of that every meeting we are in the meeting with you always putting faculty and the student concern on the top of the agenda, and any technology they need to make sure that they deliver good lectures to the students on ground and online. Okay. Thank you very much for your support.
I do, Ms. Toombs, have a clarification as it relates to the scholarships. I'm sorry I gave out financial aid, but it is Ms. Hazel Pitts in the business office that is over scholarships. So if you could contact Ms. Hazel Pitts, her email address is H, and that's P as in Paul, I as in Igloo, T as in Tom, T as in Tom, S as in Sam at suno.edu, and you can find out more about your specific scholarship.
Okay, thank you. Another question says, I don't feel safe coming to the school in a classroom. I have lupus and have a classroom with more than 8 students is not good for me.
Well, I think this student is a perfect candidate to apply for accommodations.
All right, thank you. Dr. Ammons, would you like to share in regards to the face covering? Will that be a requirement for everyone who enters the campus?
I didn't hear all of your question. I couldn't hear some of the words. Could you repeat it?
Yes, sir. Will face coverings be a requirement when entering the campus?
Yes. I mean, right now it's in order. And it is one of the most consistent guidelines come from our health experts. Using face coverings is a almost certain way to stop the spread of the coronavirus. And so to enter any facility on the campus, a mask, a face covering is required.
Our next question is, once we return to campus, hotspots must be addressed continuously. Those involved in housekeeping must be protected with PPEs and protocols designed for daily challenges.
So, Ms. Toombs and Dr. Williams, you know, at this point, it may be a good idea for you all to sort of give some highlights of the overall plan and what we have been doing over the last 4 months in preparing for the return to campus.
Ms. Toombs?
Sure. So Dr. Ammons, you're correct. We have been working with the COVID task force for the last, I guess, 3 months in preparation to return to campus. As Dr. Ammons stated, we have established a partnership with Ochsner, who has been working closely with us in regards to face coverings, temperature checks, temperature checks, access points. In regards to signage, the signage was installed on this week. I know that Mr. James and facilities have been working very closely with his staff and making sure that the social distancing is in the classrooms. Also, the installation of our plastic shields will be going up soon. So again, Nurse Crosby has been working with Ochsner in regards to a virtual clinic. Primarily, you will be able, if you feel not feeling well, even though we don't encourage individuals to visit the campus if you're not feeling well, but if for some reason or another that you were feeling okay when you came to work and start feeling bad, you will be able to go online on the virtual clinic and speak with a medical professional. We'll have one installed at the housing residential hall, as well as in the Union Center. Also, we will require everyone, and as Chancellor stated, everyone is required to wear a face covering. Is going to be mandatory. Again, temperature checking. Again, I know that academics is working on a teaching plan in regards to coursework. And again, facilities is working very closely with just making sure that every component, every building comply to the social distancing and any other mandates that are that are mandated by CDC and local state health officials. And in regards to residential, I'm sure that Dr. Williams can talk a little bit about that and how that's going to work. In the bookstore, there are going to be a limited number of individuals that will be in the bookstore at a time. I know Mr. James has been working with the staff person at Airmark in regards to this cafeteria. And again, that will be limited as well, is my understanding at this time. I think 50 people maybe or less, maybe entering into the cafeteria. And we're still working out the logistics in regards to that. So again, it's not going to be the same as when you left, and those that are who just coming onto campus. It's going to be somewhat difficult to a certain extent, but it's much needed. And of course, the health and safety and the well-being of our faculty, staff, and students is a priority to Dr. Ammons and to all of us. And so that's why we have worked tirelessly in putting together this Safe at Suno plan, working with Ochsner and also with the New Orleans East Hospital, who possibly will be providing testing to everyone who to be tested for COVID, and other services that we will be providing later on in the year. So I don't know if I missed anything. Dr. Williams, you can chime in, or Patrick, if you would like to say anything on behalf of the student body. But those are the things that we have worked on and continue to do so, because, you know, this situation is very fluid. Things change on a, we can't even say on a daily basis, but primarily every minute something is happening. So I know today we had 106 new cases. Thank God we didn't have any deaths here in the city of New Orleans, but you know, it just continues. So again, we would appreciate your patience. We appreciate your patience, but we also ask that you would help us, that we can comply and keep everyone safe. Dr. Williams?
Yes. As it relates to housing, all students that are in housing will have to go through training. And Mr. Glenn, you will, once you complete your housing assignment and get your housing assignment, you will be receiving detailed information and a letter that explains everything that you will have to do to stay safe in housing. So there will be video trainings, meetings, cleaning trainings, all of that will happen for you once you sign up for your housing and pay your deposit. So I hope that helps. And if you have further questions or details about living in housing and staying safe, you can contact Mr. Glenn now. And his email address is wglenn@suno.edu.
And also, one of the things that I failed to mention is we're working with Ochsner to put together a training video. We're in a discussion to find out if that, I'm sorry. Hello? A training video for faculty, staff, and students to view before returning on campus. And so hopefully we'll have that out very shortly. And in regards to communications, I will constantly continue to keep you up to date on the latest information in regards to our email, website, or our social media outlets. Patrick?
Yeah, I don't have any further remarks. I think you guys have already summarized it.
I'd like to add something about precautions for classrooms, because I see a chart regarding the total number of students in a classroom. The staff of the facility unit have gone around all the classrooms and identified how many seats we can accommodate to maintain 6 feet social distancing. This is extremely important. If the temperature is taken outside, the instructor wants to make sure that the students are well staggered safely. And we have identified some classrooms that can take normally 30 students. We have calculated how many students will be there. Usually it's much, much less than the number that we have now. The same thing for the computer labs. We have identified and seen that we need to mobilize some computers to make sure that we maintain the safe distancing. So we are assuring students and faculty that should we have to do the face-to-face teaching, we will maintain precaution to make sure that the social distancing is maintained in the classroom. This is very, very important, and we'll try to enforce it. Also, the instructor that is teaching, we make sure that there is clearance around him or her. We make sure that the instructor too is safe. I think that is very important for us to note.
Thank you, Dr. Adeboye. There is one particular question, I don't know if we answered it or not, but it says, have we considered sending a poll to our students to ask them if they have a choice what classes they're enrolled in this semester that they feel they would absolutely need to take in a face-to-face environment to earn a passing grade?
We will, like the Chancellor said, we'll try our best to accommodate students. We work with faculty, we work with students to take care of their needs. There are some courses in which no matter what type of technology you have, you really cannot impart the knowledge that is required convincingly to the students. And we will accommodate faculty that will have requests to bring in maybe a few students or whatever the number. If we need to find a suitable room for such a meeting, we'll make sure that this is done. This is especially important in the natural science courses where we have some high-tech laboratory exercises. Some faculty may want to bring groups of students in. As long as temperature is taken before they come in, so that the instructor is happy that every student in the session has normal body temperature, and we'll make sure also that of course, they are wearing face masks. We'll make sure that there are adequate washing of hands and facility to sterilize, to disinfect their hands. So we make sure that we can accommodate students' needs. We always stretch ourselves to take care of graduating seniors, and this will continue.
Thank you, Dr. Adeboye. I know that we may not have an opportunity to answer all the questions in the chat box. I will make sure to forward those questions to the appropriate individuals that can answer those. And again, as Dr. Ammons stated earlier, if you need to speak with me directly, please feel free to email me. But at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Ammons for closing remarks.
Thank you, Ms. Toombs, and I want to thank all my colleagues for being on the call and addressing these extremely important questions and concerns that members of our university community have. Before we close out, though, I want to go back to the question about PPE for people who are working on the campus. I think the question was related to people who are working in the physical plant having PPE. We are now in the process of ordering PPE for the university community. Our plan is to distribute kits to our colleagues, faculty, and staff, as well as to our students. The initial round of PPE is being provided as a part of the partnership that we have with Ochsner. The university will be purchasing additional PPE to distribute to our campus community. We're taking every precaution. And again, I just want to reiterate this, and I do know that some of the questions that came in were developed prior to my opening comments. Our decision to return to the campus is going to be based on guidance that we get from the state of Louisiana, the city of New Orleans, and science and health experts. When we are allowed to bring our community back to the campus, we have a plan that is based on health and scientific data. It is not our intent to put anyone in harm's way. And also, I want to reiterate that our plan has flexibility for those who are vulnerable to COVID-19. There are accommodations that can be provided for faculty, staff, and students who have these vulnerabilities, whether it's age and underlying conditions. And so we're making every effort to address these important concerns. And I mean, I tell you, every one of these concerns that you raised is important. But I tell you what else is important too, and that is the quality of instruction that our students receive. One of the things that we cannot forget is that in spite of COVID-19, when our students go and apply for graduate and professional school, when they apply for careers in all of these high demand fields, they are going to be looking for people who are prepared. While we're doing everything that we can to prepare our faculty to deliver instruction using different modalities, we have to make certain that if it is determined that face-to-face instruction with in-person interaction in a classroom setting is the best way to prepare our students, then that is what we must do, but in a responsible and safe way. And so I just want to, again, thank everyone for participating in this town hall. We will continue to monitor what is going on with coronavirus cases, hospitalizations, deaths, etc. We will continue to update our website, both for the plan and the university website. And we'll be coming back with other virtual town halls to make certain that we have as much input and that we are aware of all of the concerns that are being expressed by those in the university community. We are where you are. We are deeply concerned. Every day we're getting data coming out saying that for the last few days, 2,000 new cases across the state of Louisiana. We are not blind to that. And that is why we have taken the approach that we have taken to ensure that what we do is guided by health and with the commitment to protect the health and safety of SUNO's university community. So with that, again, I want to thank you for participating. And again, stay tuned on our websites for updated information. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ammons, and thank you to all of those that participated this afternoon, as well as to our COVID-19 task force. Have a great remaining day. Be safe and be well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.